news. Lisa arrived home then from Walmart and was jumped as she came in the front door. She didn't even have a chance to put the groceries away. She was brutally slayed. She suffered from at least 25 sharp object wounds. Joel Sr.'s arms were removed, his legs were removed from the hips, his right ankle was separated from the rest of his leg. His body parts
Welcome to CSL TV. And I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as an informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone out. And we just basically watching videos and talking about them. Now, if you've been rocking with me, watching all the stuff that I post, I just appreciate you so much, because you could be somewhere else trying to watch this type of stuff. But yeah, you come back messing with me. So, hey, I just hope everything in your life is going okay, if not going great. And I don't want to make this intro too long, so you already know what we gonna do. Let's get it.
This story is insane. This is 18-year-old Mason Sisk from Alabama. When he was 14, his parents and 3 younger siblings were all brutally murdered in their home, all 5 shot in the head, gunned down while they were lying in their beds. Mason initially told police he was in the basement playing video games when he heard gunshots and ran outside to see a vehicle pulling away. Only that wasn't true. He apparently confessed to his girlfriend at the time, saying he was good with a gun, killing them all in 4 seconds, all headshots. He later confessed to authorities and reportedly showed zero remorse while being detained. He said to have killed his entire family shortly after finding out that his mom was actually his stepmom and his younger siblings were actually his half-siblings. The youngest child was just 6 months old. He'd also previously tried to poison his stepmother by putting peanut butter in her coffee because she was severely allergic. She was a special education teacher in the area. This all happened back in 2019, and now a jury has finally reached a verdict. He'll be spending life in jail without the possibility of parole, an extremely rare case for someone who commits a crime as a minor. The DA said this:
I can think of probably on one hand, probably the 5 most dangerous people that I've ever dealt with in my career, and Mason Sisk is at the top of that list.
A judge said the evil crime warranted the harshest punishment allowed by law.
Now this is sad. This sick, twisted, you know what I'm saying, psycho found out he was just a stepchild. So he wanted to kill everybody now. They still showed you love and care and all this stuff. What if your real parents, you know what I'm saying, was crackheads or way worse than this, just didn't care about you? You know what I'm saying? What if you was an inbred, but you want to kill some people who raised you, took care of you, fed you, clothed you? You see what I'm saying? So, this is just sad. Even a 6-month-old baby, and you bragging to your girlfriend on how quick, 4 seconds, boom, you did what you did. I hope, man, I don't even know what to say on this situation, because, I mean, he's just a sick individual. I mean, ain't nothing else to say.
Lisa Guy's head was simmering away in that pot for 2 days before it was found. In this whole video, we're looking at a guy, Joel Guy. This one takes us to Knoxville, Tennessee. It's Thanksgiving and the mighty year of 2016. In the Guy family household, the dinner preparations had already started. The patriarch and matriarch of the Guy family were Lisa and Joel Sr. Lisa was 55, Papa Joel 61. That Thanksgiving, they had their 4 children over: Candice, Michelle, and Angela. Lisa and Joel Sr. also had a son together, 28-year-old Joel Jr. Lisa and Joel Sr. had some news for their 4 kids. They were gonna retire. Joel was an engineering designer. Lisa a full-time mother, who then, as her children grew, went on to become an accounting administrator. The children, you know, they were all adults, and while the 3 daughters, they still lived in Tennessee, son Joel Michael, he lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The family holiday passed in good spirits. The daughters left on Friday, the 25th, but Joel and Michael decided to stay on a little longer. Then, he also returned to his home in Baton Rouge on the 27th of November. It was the next day, Monday the 28th of November, that Lisa failed to show up for work, and her boss called the police reasonably quickly because Lisa, you know, if she was sick or couldn't make it to work for whatever reason, she was definitely one of those people who would let you know. The police arrived shortly after.
So, this don't even sound good. You don't never do this type of stuff, and all of a sudden you doing this type of stuff. So since you got a good employer, they say, hey, this is very uncommon for this person to do that. we gonna see what happened, because if it wasn't for them, we don't know where this could have been.
The police arrived shortly after to the Guy property to carry out a welfare check. There were 2 cars parked at the house, and the light in the foyer was on. The officers rocked up, knocked on the door, rang the buzzer. No response. They then called a detective as things were looking a bit shifty. Peering through the windows, they could see groceries, beers, bacon, the good stuff. And they could tell the house was warm and had a weird smell. And a dog was barking faintly inside. Wait till they get inside. They eventually did when one of the officers pressed the garage door buzzer thingy, and they ventured in.
Police Department, Sheriff's Office!
The first thing they noticed was the heat. The temperature was quite high, and there was also a chemical odor emanating from the entire home. There were random items on the dining area floor: plastic bags, bleach, towels. The dining table had some specific items on it as well, including a couple of wallets, seemingly one that was a man's, one that was a woman's. There was some money, a cell phone, and a hammer. In the kitchen area, the officers found the stove and the oven on, turned up to a high heat. There was also a big pot on the top of the stove. There was nothing good inside the pot, and so they proceeded up the stairs, on which were reddish brown stains. Then on the landing, straight down the hall, was an open door. Blood was on the ground and on the walls, and they could see hands. They were not attached to anything. They went into the master bedroom. The bed was made, it was neat, but the chemical smell was really strong, and there was an additional smell lingering in there as well. That's when they went into the ensuite. Plastic sheeting was covering the floor. There was a garden hose attached to the shower instead of a normal head, and a massive knife in the sink. And on the ground, there were 2 large plastic tubs next to each other. Inside the tubs were the dissolving remains of 2 people. By looking at the bodies, they assumed that was the remains of Joel Sr. and Lisa Guy. At the back door were unopened bin bags, 3 bottles of bleach, muriatic acid, baking soda. A sprayer was beside. Guns and ammo were left laid out on the dining table. Food and groceries were left laid out. On the staircase were piles of clothing that had been cut up, beside which was a blood-stained scissors and blood-stained knife. In fact, there was blood evidence everywhere, really, as well as knives and bleach. Evidence of a cleanup, but like, not a cleanup. It took 2 entire days to go through and cover the entire crime scene. Once that was
done, it took them 2 days to do the whole crime scene. Now, before I continue, shout out to that guy for this amazing story. Man, it's just crazy that 2 days it took them. 2 days it took them to go through this whole crime scene. It had to have been very bad. You heard how the police had to go in there and all that type of stuff. So just imagine what the first responders feel like when they going through something like that. And it's usually the police.
Once that was done, the police thought they had a clear idea of what had happened. It was Joel who was attacked first. He had suffered dozens and dozens of sharp force injuries while he was being murdered. 34 cuts on his back showed that he had suffered them while alive. He suffered injuries to his lungs, his kidneys, his liver, his ribs. Lisa arrived home then from Walmart and was jumped as she came in the front door. She didn't even have a chance to put the groceries away. She was brutally slayed. She suffered from at least 25 sharp object wounds. Joel Sr.'s arms were removed, his legs were removed from the hips, his right ankle was separated from the rest of his leg. His body parts were placed inside the chemical bath. Lisa's arms were also removed from the shoulders, her legs removed at the knees, her head was severed. Her body parts were placed inside the other blue tub, inside the chemical bath. But not her head. Remember the pot on the stove? Lisa Guy's head was simmering away in that pot for 2 days before it was found. The police didn't waste any time checking the CCTV of nearby stores. And looky here, who did they see buying stuff with bandaged hands? On Tuesday, November 29th, an arrest was made all the way over in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The person being charged with the first-degree murders was none other than Joel Guy Jr. himself. When they arrested him, they found his hands were covered in cuts and nicks. Inside his car, they also recovered a meat grinder and a gasoline canister. After he murdered his parents, his hands got cut to so he had to abandon his cleanup. He left it unfinished and went back down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to take care of his paws. According to family members, he was always an outsider. He never made the effort to be in touch with his family. And I guess after some years, his family felt the same way about him, except his mother, Lisa. She would call him all the time, send him money, pay for his place in Baton Rouge, and she ended up with her head inside a boiling pot courtesy of her son. He sat through the entire trial without showing any remorse, no guilt whatsoever. See, the whole reason for this was that Joel Sr. and Lisa, who had taken care of him all of his life, gave him money, would pay for everything. He did jack shit. They were finally gonna cut off his allowance. He was 28, had to stand on his own 2 feet. Joel wasn't too keen on that. He planned to commit the murders for insurance purposes. Lisa had a $500,000 life insurance policy. He had to kill his dad as well to ensure he got it. He asked for the death penalty if found guilty. Joel Guy Jr. was found guilty by the jury on all 7 counts. He didn't get the death penalty though. He was sentenced to life in prison for 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, 1 count of felony murder for killing Lisa Guy while committing first-degree murder of Joel Guy Sr., and 2 counts of felony murder while committing theft. He was also charged with an additional 4 years imprisonment for the abuse of corpses. By the way, I have no idea what's the story with that weird lump on his face. Thank you so much for watching. All the best.
So you mean to tell me that this guy, this loser, killed his parents because they was trying to tell him it's time for you to grow the fuck up? 28 years old, they said, look here, it's time for you to grow up to be a man. We've been paying your goddamn bills since you done popped out, and we just can't do it anymore. So your stupid self decide to kill both of them, and then you gonna boil your mom's head after she kept you on tab, even when dad wanted to cut you off. So you gotta think about it. You are not a right individual. The death penalty would have been too fucking easy, so no, you can't get that. And yeah, you're gonna live with this until, it's time for you to go. Because I couldn't even imagine someone thinking about this. Oh, you want to cut me off? Y'all just had Thanksgiving dinner. That is my most favorite holiday of the year. I love Thanksgiving more than my birthday. I'm sorry, but there's just so much to be thankful for, and just thinking of, the whole thing of Thanksgiving. So for me, that is my favorite holiday. I don't care how any other people look at it. That's just me. But this fucking slime guy, I hope you understand what you did, and mentally you is getting some kind of help, because this is boiling the head for 2 days, man.